One of the major things that came out of the Xbox leaks a couple of weeks ago was the future plans of Phil Spencer and Xbox and the acquisitions that they potentially wanted to make. There was a viral email that went out where Phil Spencer was talking about how getting Nintendo would be like the pinnacle of his career, and acquiring them would be something they would actually be interested in doing. Now, we heard the stories about Xbox being laughed out of the room the first time they tried to acquire Nintendo. And it seems like that's always been there, something in the back of their minds that they would potentially want to pursue. Now, I don't think it will ever happen. I also don't think it would actually be good for gaming if Xbox were to ever acquire Nintendo. But I mean, crazier things have happened. And over the last number of years, at least from the start of this generation, we have seen some insane stuff, from the Bethesda acquisition to the Activision Blizzard acquisition, and even the acquisition of Bungie by PlayStation. Now we have this article here and information here from Nintendo of America and Doug Bowser commenting on their relationship with Microsoft, saying that they actually do have a great relationship, which I think is a good thing here for both companies. I mean, we know already that they do have a good relationship, how they have worked going forward with things like crossplay. Nintendo was all for that. Obviously, they would want to keep games like Minecraft on their system, and crossplay being a staple of that, getting people from PC, from Xbox, and all of the different platforms to be able to play together was something that would be good for the game and good for Nintendo themselves. So they were at the forefront with Xbox, trying to create crossplay across platforms. And if you've been playing video games for as long as I have, you probably thought this is something that would never happen. And when they did first try to get crossplay out there was that major pushback from PlayStation. We do know the major reason for that is because they wanted to make more money off of crossplay, because they believe they brought more players to the games themselves. But thankfully, that all got worked out, and we do have crossplay today. But Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser commented on the company's relationship with Xbox, and here is what he says. "We have a great relationship with Microsoft. We consider them to be partners in many, many ways, and you only have to look at the Nintendo Switch to see that partnership. Obviously, Minecraft is on the Nintendo Switch, and we brought Banjo-Kazooie to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, so we're looking forward to that partnership continuing." And this is something that I think we will see continue going forward. I mean, we know about the 10-year deal here with Call of Duty. Maybe we'll see some more stuff come out of that. Maybe we see some more crossovers with things like Halo. All of that stuff I think will occur on the Nintendo Switch. I mean, the question here for Xbox gamers is, will Nintendo properties really ever make their way out on to the Xbox platform? That's something that is yet to be foreseen. I'm kind of doubtful that that will ever happen, but I do believe we will see some more Xbox stuff on the Nintendo Switch, the Nintendo Switch 2, and their platform going forward, especially things like potentially Xbox Game Pass. If they were ever to continue to work together, I know Xbox would love to see Game Pass on the Nintendo Switch, and maybe they will come to some sort of deal that is beneficial for both. And maybe you're going to be able to access the cloud version of Xbox Game Pass on your Nintendo Switch. I think that would be super cool to see. And this all goes back again to that email from Phil Spencer talking about Nintendo and talking about the acquisition. He's discussing this potential Nintendo acquisition with the vice president and chief commercial officer at the time, Takeshi Nemoto. And one of the things he does say is that, "Takeshi, I totally agree that Nintendo is the prime asset for us in gaming. Today, gaming is our most likely path to consumer relevance. I've had numerous conversations with Nintendo about tighter collaboration and feel like if any US company would have a chance with Nintendo, we are probably in the best position. The unfortunate or fortunate for Nintendo's situation is that Nintendo is sitting on a big pile of cash. They have a board of directors that until recently has not pushed for further increases in market growth or stock appreciation." And obviously they are. And one of the reasons I think they're looking at this is because potentially to grow their market would be to do more partnerships with Xbox and eventually some sort of crazy acquisition in the future. But I don't see this at all being a good thing if this were to happen. And I don't think it will ever happen. But at the end of the day, I think Xbox and Nintendo having a good working relationship will be beneficial for both Xbox, of course, and for the Nintendo platform. And hopefully one day we do see some sort of integration with Game Pass, maybe again, the Xbox Cloud Gaming landing on to the service. Now, when it comes to the Xbox platform and the Xbox consoles, they actually did see a massive surge in the UK in September. And this probably coincides a lot with the release of Starfield. And we see here from GameIndustry.biz that Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo console sales jumped 44% in September. But specifically, when we look at the console hardware, it says game consoles jumped 44% in September, driven by strong sales of consoles and particularly the Xbox Series S and X. The Xbox platform benefited from the release of Starfield with sales up 136% month on month. And the Series X SKU was narrowly the most popular version last month, ahead of the Series S edition by just 100 units. So two things there. 136% jump is just massive on a month by month basis. It does make sense. So you had August, which was more of a down month, and then you have one of the biggest game releases of this generation, which will be Starfield, or which is Starfield. And that game itself will push people to go out there and enter into the ecosystem in one way or another. One of the easiest ways to enter into the ecosystem for most people will just be going out and picking up a console. Not everybody wants to go out and build a PC, which will cost thousands of dollars. But if you go to the store, you see the Starfield marketing, you see a $500 Series X or a $300 Series S, that's easily the best way for people to jump in. And that's what's leading to these consoles sales increase. They say that the new 1 terabyte Series S console was the third best-selling Xbox SKU, which makes sense. I mean, it's newer, not as many people know about it, and they probably don't have as much units out there for retail. Now, the Xbox Series S and X was the second most popular platform, still behind the PlayStation 5, which enjoyed a good month with sales up 24% over August. And I'm not surprised that it's still behind the PlayStation 5. This is something that Phil Spencer talked about when everybody was making fun of him and taking his words out of context and saying that Xbox was giving up and that they've thrown in the towel in terms of console sales. It's obvious. The PlayStation console itself, because it is a closed-off ecosystem, it is something that they've had in terms of marketing and top of mind, word of mouth stuff in the gaming industry for generations upon generations. They've been in the industry longer than Xbox. It is going to be very hard to surpass the PlayStation in terms of console sales specifically. Even when you release a game like Starfield and it comes out to critical acclaim, it has so much hype behind it, everybody wants to play it. It will move the needle on Xbox consoles, but it won't move it so much that they're all of a sudden going to be selling more than the PlayStation 5. All of this stuff that they have in, I'm sure, a large database where they can look at how things are working in terms of consumers purchasing these consoles, what makes them go out and buy them, all their consumer behavior shows why they went out and expanded their ecosystem, knowing that if they were to keep all of their games locked to the Xbox console, they still would not be able to surpass PlayStation, or at least they wouldn't be able to do it for a very, very long time. But they can still move the needle slightly in terms of how many consoles sell for the particular platform by releasing great games like Starfield. So all of this stuff has been proven here with the release of Starfield. Everything Phil Spencer said, he was correct, and everything in terms of the ecosystem being the right decision for Xbox going forward. We're seeing that play out more and more every time they release these big first-party games that expand their user base, expand their ecosystem, but won't push the Series X and S to be selling more than the PlayStation 5. So overall, though, I think this is a very big success story in terms of just how huge of a game Starfield was. And we've seen numbers of Starfield and how many people actually purchased the game. A lot of narratives got destroyed here with the release of Starfield. The biggest one I would say is that if you put games day and date into a subscription service like Game Pass, people aren't going to go out and buy those games. We've seen the Steam numbers, and that's clearly not true. People still will go out and purchase those games if it is a good game people want to play. And also, you're putting out quality first-party games. It is going to move the needle specifically for the sales of your consoles so that more people are purchasing it in that particular month, which will then lead to more people probably subscribing to Game Pass and jumping in and staying subscribed to the ecosystem itself. So Xbox has done a lot of positive stuff in 2023, and they're continuing it here as we go through the end of the year. And going into 2024 and beyond with Activision Blizzard, it will be extremely interesting to see how they expand their relationship with other companies like Nintendo with big games that weren't previously on the platform, especially after we get the announcement of the Nintendo Switch 2, which will most likely make it easier for these games to run on the Nintendo platform. But I will end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video.